What is a language? Language, I think, is one of the highest abstractions because it's essentially the music of cultures through which they are talking to each other, and they are like sort of auditory fossils that tell us about how a culture emerged. Language is not only a way of communication, ये हमें सोचना सिखाती है. तो कुछ दिनों पहले ना I was just skimming through a Hindi newspaper and I came across an article in Hindi, and to my absolute surprise a lot of words that the article used was English. And then I started thinking कि कैसे हिंदी के शब्द लुप्त हो रहे हैं. ये मेरे लिए एक शौक के जैसे था. When I did a lot of thinking, I realized कि प्रॉब्लम सिर्फ वो एक आर्टिकल में नहीं थी, बल्कि ये अब एक रियलिटी है. It may sound paradoxical that we hate our colonial past but simply love the English language. And then I searched on Google, is Hindi dying? And of course I came across a lot of articles on Hindi Bachao, Save Hindi. इन सारी चीज़ों से इंटरनेट भरी पड़ी है, पर आई थिंक हमें एक अलग एंगल से सोचने की ज़रूरत है. सो let's talk about Hinglish, the combination of English and Hindi. The world is new and it keeps on evolving, and the things that don't keep up with time get extinct. Change is inevitable. हिंदी सिर्फ किताबों या आर्टिकल से ही विलुप्त नहीं हो रही, पर ये हमारे नॉर्मल बातचीत से भी विलुप्त हो रही है. जैसे if you look at how the people speak Hindi and just do a POS tagging, means कि कितने nouns थे और कितने adjectives, you will see that all things that are nouns that have any sort of semantic importance will be close to English. For example, you won't say मेज पे किताब रखी है, you will say book table पे रखी है. और we rarely say क्या समय हुआ है, we say क्या time हुआ है. So what we are doing is, हिंदी से हम बस preposition उठा रहे हैं, pronouns उठा रहे हैं, but the real thing which gives meaning to things is coming from English. Also, the idea of speaking full sentence in Hindi is now so anachronistic that it automatically becomes funny. So much so that we create caricatures of people who do so. Remember Jijaji from Chupke Chupke? So we are already in a Hinglish society. Hindi has evolved and became a different version of itself. It is eroding and getting replaced by action words from English, which are nouns and verbs, which essentially gives meaning to your sentence, and all the filler things are what Hindi is. But why? Why is this happening? If we look at the problem of the erosion of Hindi from the root, then we will understand that it is eroding due to lack of new words in the vocabulary of Hindi. But why we don't have new words in Hindi? Well, just look at in this way. When a culture is active, it generates new concepts. Look at all the things that English adds every year. It adds things like hustle culture, selfies, startups, computer. It adds concepts upon concepts. It is the symbol of a vibrant culture. It is more flexible, innovative and vibrant compared to Hindi. और जब एक कल्चर में वाइब्रेंसी ख़त्म हो जाती है, then it stops making new words because nothing is happening in that culture. Now, let's get back to the solution कि हिंदी को कैसे बचाए विलुप्त होने से. What can be done? I think we cannot do anything. It's gone. Disappointing? What I'm trying to say is, and trust me, I'm keeping it as academic as possible, we cannot do anything because things like this do not come from the state of mind of the individual speaker. It's a larger play at hand. Any language which extinct or is defeated by time is probable because they are not relevant anymore. But English is not like that, particularly American English forms the culture today. It is the intellectual powerhouse. This is This is where we get entrepreneurship from, hustle culture from, procrastination and all these new things. So what about Hindi? क्या हमें इसे ऐसे ही lost होने देना चाहिए? Well, for that, let's dig into the history of Hindi. Hindi is an artificial language. If you look at its history, you will see that it's a mishran of a lot of languages. हिंदी इज़ अ कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ अवधी खड़ी बोली जो दिल्ली के अराउंड बोली जाती थी और उसमें अ लॉट ऑफ संस्कृत वर्ड्स आर एडेड टू क्रिएट अ लैंग्वेज विच बिकेम गवर्नमेंट की भाषा फॉर इंडिया टू फंक्शन. हिंदी की हमेशा अलग अलग वाइब्रेंट रही. कभी इस्लामिक इन्फ्लुएंस रहा है तो कभी पर्सियन तो कभी अवधी. लेट्स टेक एग्जाम्पल फ्रॉम बॉलीवुड, द मोस्ट लुक्रेटिव एंड फॉलोड इंडस्ट्री इन इंडिया. India has evolved from songs like Nain Lad Jai Hai and Khaike Paan Banaras Wala to It's the Time to Disco and Mind Blowing My Hair. हमारे पास बहुत दिनों तक स्टैंडर्ड हिंदी नहीं थी. वो तो after a lot of literature works which happened in Hindi standardized it. And trust me, I'm not the only one who supports Hinglish. Rahul Kansal, who was the chief marketing officer of the Times of India, कहते हैं कि when I was in college, there were two distinct groups, the English speaking and the Hindi speaking groups. But now I notice that the distinction is blurring and there is a clear coming together of the two, that is Hinglish. I feel that is a great development. Then what about those Hindi बचाओ Save Hindi वाले protest? वो क्यों हो रहे हैं? The brilliance in Hindi language believes that Hinglish curves the identity of the Hindi language. But do we have only one identity? I think we can step in and out of different identities, and we can do the same with languages. So do we have a bleak future for Hindi? The answer is no. Hindi still has a bright future. Kaise? Well, I think Hindi will evolve and get better when India may that sort of rejuvenation will happen in which the culture starts doing its own thing. It will naturally happen, like we will form our own sort of words. At last, I just want to say that deliberately trying to save Hindi by forcing archaic words back into your speech goes against the natural course of where the civilization is heading. Hindi is a beautiful language. The beauty of Hindi is that it is so malleable. It can be, it fuses with a lot of languages and takes a new beautiful form. People might say, this is my language. This is where it has always been. Well, it hasn't. Robert Browning's English was different from Shakespeare's English, and Shakespeare's English was different from Chaucer's. The evolution of language is never going to stop. So, it is good to corrupt any language. And what is the correct thing to do? Correct keeps changing with time. Today is Hindi Divas. And I just want you all to appreciate the language, the beauty of Hindi, and do not stress about its instinction. It won't instinct. But what it will do is combine with other culture and form something new, just like our culture. That's what India is. Hindi Divas ki hardik shubhkamnaएं. If you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching.